My topic is about when should we start YouTubing? And this question has been in my mind, I think, for 15 years already. I have started having this idea that I would share my experiences and everything that I want to share to the public using YouTube. And 15 years ago, when I was in Korea, there were so many married couples or unmarried couples who, especially the Filipina and a Korean couple, those kinds of couples started 20 or 15 years ago, and it became very famous in Korea that there were so many TV shows showing those kinds of couples. And because of that, YouTube also became, it wasn't a trend that time, but it was the beginning of people sharing their life as an international couple. But the people who were sharing their experiences as an international couple were mostly Caucasians and Koreans. So, I would give you an example, like my Korean husband, they started doing their YouTube very long time ago. And they became well known because they have joined a TV show which is showing, the life of international couples. And so because of those people, I was hesitating, because I said, maybe it's too late for me to start doing YouTube, because they are doing it already, and I don't want to be one of them. Like, I don't want to be a copycat, and I think so many people would be sick and tired of those kinds of couples, because there are too many already. So that's what I was thinking. And then a few years later, more couples were doing it, and I thought it was already the end when my Korean husband was already popular, and I thought it was the end for other couples to share their experiences, but it was just the beginning. And even until now, 20 or 15 years have passed, and until now, so many people are doing it. And I thought, 2 decades ago, I thought I was already too late to start, and I don't really know what to share anymore. And because I didn't want to be one of them, so I didn't. And then I think one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing YouTube that time was because I was so happy being married to my husband. Not because he is Korean, but I was so happy being just married. And that time because it was a new kind of life, I thought. I was very young, so I thought it was a new kind of life. So it was a transition, and I didn't really know what to do being married, so I have all the time in my life, that time. So I thought that maybe I could use my time by, making videos and share my happy life, my happy married life to the public. But that was the reason why. And because since I was 20 years old, since I was 25, I guess, when I have learned how to make videos, I enjoyed it, and I did so many of them for my family, for myself, for everybody, and I was uploading YouTube videos, videos on YouTube, but I think they were not very sophisticated, and there is no brand, there is no, there is no certain topic that was being shared. I was just randomly uploading the videos, so that was it. So what I'm trying to say is, since I was young, even though there was no YouTube, or even though YouTube wasn't very popular at that time, I have been already making videos, a lot of them, and I think they turned into scrap, and they're all gone, I guess. And now I still make videos. I take videos, but they're just in my hard drive. Yeah. So, and then this year there is this very famous Korean and Filipino couple, a very young couple, but they seem to be very well off. They seem to have planned their life very well before they got married. But then when I saw the guy, I felt something like, it felt like I have seen him before. It felt like I know him. So I watched their videos, and I saw the old pictures of the guy, and I realized that I really knew him. And I remember that when I was in Daegu, and then every weekend I would go to Kyobo bookstore or Yongpong bookstore, and I was still single that time. I was only 24 or 25, I guess, and every weekend I would go downtown and do just relax and go to bookstores. I love going to bookstores in Korea because it's very quiet, it's big, the places are huge, and there's so many things to see. There's so many different kinds of books that you don't have to buy, but you can just read it there if you're a fast reader. And I mean, it relaxes me. Going to bookstores in Korea relaxes me a lot. So that was I could say, a hobby when I was single, just go to those bookstores. And yeah. And then there was this teenager who approached me, and I felt that at that time there are so many people in Korean people who really are crazy about learning the English language. But it's not like these days where you where you would feel that they are really blatantly taking advantages of native English speakers. But excuse me, but that time most of them, they were passively and timidly approaching foreigners, but most of the people who approach foreigners at time are quite in the intermediate level, I guess. When they speak the English language, they already know. They can communicate, and one of the people I know who are like them was that guy who is now popular on YouTube and married to a Filipina. So at that time I was 25 or 24, I guess, and I think he was a middle school student. And even at that time, his face doesn't really look like a Korean national, but he is pure Korean. And so whenever I was with him, like we would go to convenience stores or bookstores or any restaurant, and people would, most especially the ajumas or the old people, would compliment him and say that he's very handsome. And he would say always with a smile and politely say thank you. So I was really fond of him, and he was so friendly, accommodating, and every time we would meet, he would have different kinds of ideas of what to do, and I felt sorry that I didn't really have anything for him. Like I didn't prepare anything, because that was my personality. That is my personality, that I just meet people without having any plans and without any having intentions at all. Anyway, so he was, I think at that time, he was only very young, but he think in advance. So he seemed to be very aware of what he is doing, I guess. And we had this conversation. I think it was very serious, but I wasn't. And I thought that at that time he was still very young, so as an adult or as a person who's older than him, and basing it through my experiences, that time I had a Korean boyfriend as well, who is not my husband now. And I was giving advices. So he said, I talked to my parents, and I was trying to test their reactions of what I'm going to ask them, and I said to them that I would like to get married to a foreigner, a person who's not Korean, and what if I get married to a Filipina? And I think being an international couple is so amazing. It is a mixture of different kinds of culture and food and language. So I guess being married to a foreigner is not a bad idea. And so my family just said, yeah, sure, why not? And then that's what he said. And then I felt that time that he was waiting for a reaction coming from me. So I said, Relationships is a serious deal, and being in an international marriage is a different kind of level because the culture is different, the language is different. So that is my idea and in my experience. But if you really want to, then why not? But my advice is maybe not, I guess. That's what I said. That's what I remember. I was so negatively disagreeing with the idea of international marriage. And I felt that time that he liked me, but because of our age gap, maybe he was hesitating, and because he was still young, I think maybe he was in high school, not middle school, because he said that time he was going to serve he's going to join the military service. I'm not sure. But now I see him on YouTube with his Filipino wife, and he's more handsome than ever. And his wife is a year older than him. And I feel very happy for him because he knows what he really wants and he goes for it. And I think not a lot of people would, would plan their life ahead when they are still young, because like in my case, I was just going with the flow, and I guess I never planned my life at all. I was just like water flowing, and I didn't really the thing that I envy from other people is that, most especially from people who are still young and knows they have already decided what they really want to do in life, and they go for it until they get it and live with that idea or with that dream or with that plan for a very long time in their life. And so he just started doing YouTube, I think, last year with his wife. Actually, the idea of having the YouTube channel was his wife's idea. Yeah. And now that so many years have passed, 15 years I guess, or 20 years have passed, and I'm just now doing YouTube. And so when is really the right time to do YouTube? That was the question I have been asking myself. And there is really no right time, I guess. And every time, like, I delay the plans, or I think too much of what I'm going to do, I end up becoming late on what to do. Like, I would always say that I should have done doing it a long, long time ago. Yeah, so I think the issue I have is I don't really want to share my life to other people. I don't really want to show my life to other people. That is the issue, I guess. That's why I didn't really upload the videos that I have been taking videos of. But then I asked myself, then how can I start to YouTube? How I cannot, if I don't want to share anything at all, then I'm not going to be able to do YouTube. So I was thinking of ways on how to start YouTubing without really invading my privacy or without breaking the boundaries I have. And so I decided to make videos by recording my voice and sharing my thoughts and my experiences. Yeah, so that's how I solved the problem, I guess. And I didn't think of this before because I thought that maybe no one's going to be interested in listening. But I think at this time, in this time and age, I think people are tired of looking at people, looking at their faces, and I think it is relaxing to just hear people do storytelling and listen to someone, like playing the radio, turning the radio on, I mean. So I think that is now the trend, I guess, or whatever. I'm not really up to the trend, but this is how I want to share whatever I want to share on YouTube to the public. And talking about fame, my family would say, my siblings would say that how would you deal with fame if you're not out there? They have a point, but I said to them, to myself, and to all those who are going to listen or watch my videos, that I do not want to be famous, or I do not want to be popular, but I want my YouTube to be popular. I want my YouTube channel to be popular, to be famous, to be well known, and to be appreciated, to be liked. And I hope that many people would listen to my storytellings and also learn from my experiences, I guess. And I think in my life, I'm now 40 years old, and this YouTube channel would be, I would consider it as my masterpiece and my last project, I guess, before I die. I'm not sure if I'm going to live long, and I don't really want to live long. And so I want something that could be legendary, I guess, or that could be something like a footprint that would be left for a very long time. No one could ever erase it unless YouTube or Google would erase it. So that's it.